Ever feel like online discussions are less about finding common ground and more about shouting into an empty room? Like everyone's just talking past each other, louder and louder? You're not alone. We're living in the age of the echo chamber, and it might just be destroying our ability to have a real, nuanced debate. The terms echo chamber, filter bubble, and polarization are everywhere, used almost interchangeably. But a precise evidence-based understanding reveals they are distinct phenomena. So what exactly are they? First, let's talk about the filter bubble. Coined by Eli Pariser in 2011, the filter bubble is an algorithmic phenomenon. It's a personalized universe of information created by platforms like Google and Facebook. These systems use complex algorithms to curate content based on your browsing history, past clicks, and likes. You, the user, have a more passive role. You're the potential victim of a technology that automatically limits your exposure to information that might challenge your views. The system's choices are often non-transparent, creating a kind of intellectual isolation. Does this sound familiar? Let me know in the comments if you've ever noticed this happening to you. An echo chamber is different. It's primarily a user-driven phenomenon. This is an environment where your existing beliefs are amplified and reinforced by communication and repetition within a closed system, insulated from rebuttal. It emerges from an active choice by a group of individuals to preferentially connect or interact with each other. Often to the exclusion of outsiders. Point 4 here, individuals seek out information that reinforces their existing views as an unconscious exercise of confirmation bias. The two are deeply interwoven. An echo chamber can intensify the effects of a filter bubble. Point 11, the user-driven formation of like-minded groups, echo chambers, provides platforms with the precise behavioral data their algorithms need to create more tightly sealed, personalized information environments, filter bubbles. The result of all this? Polarization. That's a state where an individual's political stance is strictly defined by their identification with a party or ideology. It can be ideological polarization, having widely divergent policy preferences, or affective polarization, where you develop hostile feelings toward the other side. So why does this happen? The destruction of nuance is powered by a powerful, self-perpetuating cycle that combines both human psychology and machine automation. First, the algorithms. Their primary objective is simple: to maximize user engagement. They do this by curating content tailored to your preferences. But this personalization has a critical, unintended consequence. It contributes to a homogenization of online culture. These algorithms can also have a hidden bias. This bias can come from flawed data used to train the system or from the subjective decisions of programmers. This creates a feedback loop where the algorithm continuously learns and perpetuates the same bias patterns, leading to increasingly skewed results. But the algorithms don't act alone. They work by exploiting our deeply ingrained human tendencies. The most significant is confirmation bias, our tendency to favor information that supports our pre-existing beliefs and dismiss anything that contradicts them. This is driven by two key mechanisms: the desire to be right, reinforcement seeking, and the desire not to find out you're wrong, challenge avoidance. This is happening to all of us. Have you ever caught yourself doing this? Let me know your experience in the comments below. Another key psychological driver is homophily, our tendency to associate with others who are similar to us. Online, people are more likely to be connected on social media if they share a political ideology. The combination of these psychological drivers amplifies a tribal mentality, which simplifies complex problems by dividing the world into an us versus them. This brings us to the most powerful explanation for the destruction of nuance: the symbiotic feedback loop that exists between human behavior and algorithmic design. Step 1. Engagement. Your cognitive biases, like confirmation bias, cause you to selectively engage with certain content. Step 2. Recommendations. The algorithm optimized for engagement shows you more of the content you've already engaged with, reinforcing your filter bubble. Step 3. Beliefs. This continuous, narrow exposure influences your beliefs and emotions, making them more extreme and less nuanced. The cycle then repeats, reinforcing itself. This is how a moderate preference can turn into a hardened ideology, that leads to hostility toward opponents. These aren't just academic concepts. They have tangible, real-world consequences. A perfect example is the QAnon conspiracy theory. Social media provides an ideal environment for extremist ideologies. Within insulated spaces like Facebook groups and subreddits, misinformation is cherry-picked and quickly becomes accepted as fact. Outside voices are not just absent, but actively dismissed with preemptive distrust, allowing the group's version of reality to become increasingly detached from the mainstream. The echo chamber is also a breeding ground for misinformation and disinformation. The infamous "drink bleach" claim from Donald Trump is a great example of the difference. While a politician may intentionally spread disinformation, it is citizens who echo the claim without ill intent who are spreading misinformation. This claim spread quickly because of its wildly audacious nature, showing how emotionally charged content is primed to go viral. The TikTok satire case study shows how even a joke can be taken seriously and lead to negative real-world consequences, like viewers bashing the podcast and the girl who is telling the story. Engagement. Think about a time a political meme you thought was hilarious got a totally different reaction from a friend. Share your story in the comments. And if you're finding this video valuable, please hit that like button to help more people see it. Now, a critical point. While social media is widely blamed for the rise in political polarization, a critical look at the data presents a more complex picture. A PNAS study found that polarization has increased the most among the demographic groups least likely to use the internet and social media, specifically those aged 65 and older. This statistical finding strongly suggests that social media is not the sole or even primary driver of the problem. This doesn't mean social media is innocent, but it does show that deeper pre-existing societal factors are at play. To truly understand the problem, we have to look back in history. The fragmentation of media isn't new. From the late 1700s to the late 1800s, most American newspapers were openly partisan. Editors unabashedly shaped the news to serve their party's purposes. Later, in the late 19th century, figures like Joseph Pulitzer and William Randolph Hearst engaged in yellow journalism, a style that prioritized sensationalism over facts to boost sales and circulation, which sounds a lot like today's engagement-focused algorithms. The advent of cable and satellite television in the 1970s fragmented the environment further, introducing hundreds of channels and spawning more partisan news outlets like Fox News and MSNBC. This marked a significant progression towards a society with silos of belief. Point 30. So, what's truly different now? Scale, speed, and automation. The internet has fractured the information space from a few hundred channels to a billion voices, allowing for an unprecedented level of ideological seclusion. This fragmentation is no longer a choice of a few powerful gatekeepers. It's an automatic function of the system. It actively feeds on our biases, transforming a sociological tendency into a structural, systemic problem that is faster, more personalized, and more pervasive than ever before. So, how do we fix it? The solution must be a multi-stakeholder approach. It's not just about blaming the algorithm. Platforms can't just rely on content moderation. They need to change their fundamental design. This could mean prioritizing productive and connecting interactions instead of just likes and shares. They could also surface more examples of positive inter-party contact or amplify content that is popular across disparate user groups. Platforms can even redesign user interfaces, like rethinking the quote retweet button, which is often used to dunk on opponents rather than have a meaningful dialogue. Individuals must also be equipped with new tools. We need a new emphasis on algorithmic and media literacy, the ability to understand and critically evaluate the systems that shape our online experiences. Point 2. We can also cultivate a cognitive style known as actively open-minded thinking, which can serve as a powerful antidote to polarization. Finally, institutions and journalists are uniquely positioned to act as a watchdog over algorithms. By investigating and explaining algorithmic biases, they can help the public understand the risks of this technology. The internet didn't create our human tendency to self-segregate, but it did create a structural feedback loop that weaponizes it. The way out isn't to abandon social media, but to become more mindful of how it works and to demand a better, more humane design. Because if we want to have a real debate, we have to start by learning how to listen. Now, what do you think? Is the echo chamber effect the biggest threat to nuanced debate? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to like this video, subscribe for more content like this, and share it with your family and friends. It really helps the channel, and it might just start a great conversation.